Casual blouse. After cutting the fabric, method to paste the paper canvas in belt part. Take the paper canvas or chudidhar neck canvas. Take the belt part fabric and place it down in the canvas and mark it down. For the belt part, we are using the paper canvas for perfect finishing. If you need, you can use the paper canvas or you can use the cloth also. Now we are using paper canvas for good stiffness. After marking that part, cut it down. After marking the part, cut it down. As this shape. Once you can try the canvas, then you can also change to the cloth also. Just see how the finishing looks if we using paper canvas. Now two sides canvases, paper canvas inner piece have been cut it out. Now place the paper canvas shining side in the fabric. Paper canvas shining side in the fabric. Paper side in the fabric. Check the heat of the box while make ironing. In this belt part we have made 2 marks because of that mark side should face on the hook side of the blouse. Iron the canvas slowly. Iron the canvas slowly, both sides. If you need, you can use this canvas type or you can use the ordinary type by keeping the cloth inside the belt piece. After pasting the belt part, method to stitch the blouse. After pasting the belt part, first start with the back part. Make a half an inch folding stitch at the bottom part in the back part. Make half inch first folding, half inch stitching, then from that point fold it down and stiff down in the finger for a straight stitch. Stiff it down in the finger. Now make the stitching. Now make the stitch. Now the back part stitching, bottom folding stitching is completed. Now fold this part into two. Now measure the shoulder center of the shoulder finishing in the top. Now fold the cloth into two. Now the cloth have been folded into two. This is because to calculate the back dot point position, this mark should be made. This is for back dot position. Now take the back dot height as 3.5 inch or 4 inch. Back dot height should be half inch extra than the front dot. Front dot height is 3.5, then back dot height will be 4 inches. No, 4 inches. The dot width should be half inch only. The dot width should be half inch only. Make a cross line. Make a cross line to make a dot stitch. Make a cross line to make a dot stitch. Make the rub stitching. On the starting and the edging closing point should be made by reverse stitch. Now you are seeing another set dot stitching method. Now both side dot have been completed. After completing the dots, fold the back part and keep it side. At every time cloth should be folded and keep it at side after finishing that work. Now take the sleeve part and mark the inner and outer side. Take the sleeve part and mark the inner and outer side. First take a half inch folding stitch. Take a half inch folding stitch. Half inch folding stitch on both sleeves. The inner side should be folded. The inner side should be folded. Now make a line by finger for folding stitches. Now fold the stitch Now fold the stitch. The stitches should be on straight line. Now the sleeve part is completed. The next is front part. Take the front part diagram. Mark the inner and outer side of the cloth. Now mark the inner and outer side. This is the dot height measurement. In this point only we want to take the dot. Now fold the two marks for the dot width. Now we are seeing, fold the two marks. Draw a straight line with the scale. Now draw the another line in the another piece. While keeping, set the both points at the same line and then draw the line with the scale. Now the one side dot is completed. This is said to be as main dot. This is said to be as main dot. Then the same width less the height by half inch. This is for adjustment dot. For each side there will be two dots. One is at normal height and another is less the dot height by half inch, and make a dot stitch. Now the dot stitch is ready. Now from the dot height take 1 inch. From the dot height take 1 inch towards upside. Take 1 inch towards upside. Now the adjustment dot is going on. Another side adjustment dot is going on. After stitching the both dots, now keep the both dots equal. This after stitching the both pieces. This is the top is normal dot and the half inch less is adjustment dot. The height half inch less is adjustment dot. From the actual dot height, take 1 inch. From the actual dot height, take 1 inch. Take 1 inch towards upside and mark a straight line towards the hook side. This is for hook side dot purpose. This is for hook side dot purpose. From the actual dot, take 1 inch towards top side and draw a straight line towards hook side. This is for hook side dot purpose. And from the folding, take 1 inch for all measurements. Take 1 inch for the center hook, center point center gap purpose. For the point center gap purpose, take 1 inch from that line and make the center as arcat. Now both side dot marks are taking. Now make the mark for stitching. Now the dot for hook side is going on. Dot for hook side is going on. Another side dot is marking over scale. Now marking the hook side dot width half inch. Draw a straight line to mention the point where we want to stitch. For every stitch, start the stitch by making reverse stitch. Now take the main dot and hook dot stitching starting point into same line and make the center to take the armhole dot. Once again we are showing, take the 2 points in the same line and then fold the armhole side. Now you will get the armhole side dot point, and from center take 1 inch for stitching purpose, center purpose. The dot width should be half inch only. The dot width should be half inch only. Dot width should be half inch only. Half inch. All the measurements, the dot width should be only half inches. Now draw a straight line with the scale and make the stitch over the straight line. Make the stitch over the straight line. Once again we are showing how to fold. Center the 2 marks and then start the armhole dot. Now start the stitch and finish the stitch. Now the armhole dot stitching is completed. Then keep the both pieces one to another and take 3 by 4 inch from the bottom and make a cross cutting 1 inch or 0.75 inch. Make the cross cutting because it should not be folded at the belt piece. Now make a normal stitch at the bottom of the front piece. Make a normal stitch at the bottom of the front piece. At the bottom of the front piece. Now at the another side, taking the stitches. This is because the cloth should not be stretched out while stitching in the belt piece, so that we are making a stitch. Now the bottom piece, now the front piece is ready to joint with the belt piece. Now fold it over and take the belt piece. Now there are two pieces, one is for inner and the other is for outer. Place the canvas piece at the bottom and the ordinary single piece in the top and make a 0.3 foot stitches. Make 0.3 foot stitch. This is means half inch to 0.3 foot. Make a straight stitch. Once again, bottom is canvas cloth piece and the top is normal cloth. Make once again the stitch. Now fold it down. Now fold it down and make the 1 point stitch, and make the 1 point stitch while the bottom canvas piece should be on the inner side. Bottom canvas piece should be on the inner side. Stitch the two pieces also. Then fold the pieces into two. After folding, make stress into the finger. Stress into the finger and now stitch in the top side. This is half inch or 3 point stitching or gap. Now fold the inner piece. Fold the inner piece. Now fold the inner piece. And make the stitching. Fold the inner piece and make the stitching. Now the patti is stitching going on. Now the patti stitching is going on. Now keep the both belt pieces on one to another and cut it down the extra pieces and make sure that the both pieces are in equal measurements. Both pieces are in equal measurements. Now the both points are to be on the front hook side. This is the mark for the front hook side point. After making the ready of belt piece, now the front piece should be joined with the belt piece. Now take the front piece, now join the front piece with the belt piece. Make the stitching allowances are half inch. Make the stitching allowance are to be half inch. Make the stitching allowance are to be half inch. Make the reverse stitch while starting the stitch. While stitching this piece, don't stretch. Don't stretch the front piece while joining with the belt piece. Stitch very slowly while stitching this part. Stitch very slowly while stitching this part. Now joining in the another side. In the bottom there is front piece, in the top there will be belt piece. Join this part. Now the front piece in the bottom and the belt piece in the top. Slowly stitch it down. While stitching, don't stretch any piece. Now the front piece is ready after joining the belt piece. Both side pieces are ready. Take half inch from the front hook side piece. This is because to avoid loose in the neck piece, we are taking this cross. This is said to be as hook putty cross. This is said to be half inch hook putty cross. It should be cutted out before stitching the hook putty and loop putties. This hook putty cross is only for the manual pattern. For the softer cutting blouse, there is no need to cut the hook putty or loop putty pieces. Cross pieces, hook putty, cross half inch cross piece. It will be automatically cut it down on the piece. Now for hook putty, we are folding it down the two pieces. Now keep the one piece in the right or left side. Customer will ask for hook side will be right or hook side will be in the left. Whatever will be the customer choice, you can make it. Take the rub stitch and make the stitch. Make a small tuck while stitching. Take a small tuck while stitching the hook putty piece. This is because to make the flexibility in the hook pieces. Make a small tuck. Now the hook putty piece have been stitched out. Now fold the pieces. Now fold the piece. Then make a top stitch. Make a top stitch. And make a top stitch. Now stitch the front piece by the following method. The hook side piece, this is said to be hook side piece. Before stitching, press the cloth with finger, then stitch the piece. Now fold the bottom piece into the inner side. Now stop the machine, rotate the cloth. Now the front hook side piece is ready. The next is now this is to stitch the loop putty piece. The width should be 2.5 inches. Width should be 2.5 inches. Fold it down. Fold it down. Now cut the piece. Now place the loop piece in the bottom side and blouse front piece in the top side. Make half-inch stitching. Make half-inch stitching and make the reverse stitch. Make the reverse stitch. Now cut the extra piece. This should be maximum half-inch. Cut it down the extra pieces. Now fold the putty piece into the now fold the putty piece as showing in the picture. Now fold the putty piece as shown in the picture. It's loop putty piece. This should be ½ inch. Make a reverse stitches. Now rotate it in the pieces. Now rotate it into the pieces. Make a stitches for loop putty. First make a plain stitch. And then take the plain stitch and take it down. This is for loop putty. If you need, you can use it also V type hook also. Otherwise you can stitch in this method. Nowadays ready-made hooks and loops also available. You can use these types of hooks and loops also. Now the front stitching is completed. The both point hook dots should be on the same line. Both hook dots should be on the same line. Now method to stitch the neck piece. Take cross piece. This cross should be minimum 1.25 inch so that it can be stitched by perfect neck. Join the both pieces by opposite direction. Join the both cross pieces in the opposite direction. As shown in this picture. Make ½ inch stitching allowance. Make ½ inch stitching allowance. Make ½ inch stitching allowance and make a stitch. All the stitches starting and the ending point should be made by reverse stitch. Joint all the neck cross pieces. Compulsory for neck side, the pieces should be in cross only. Compulsory for the neck side, the pieces should be in cross only. Now after joining the neck cross pieces, Open the stitched part. Open the stitched part for each pieces. Join the neck cross pieces. Join the neck cross pieces with cross pieces. Make half inch for stitching allowance. Make half inch for stitching allowance. The cross after joining, it should be shaped like V. Now you are seeing after joining both cross pieces, the shape should be like V shape. Then only the neck will be sitted out correctly. Join the both pieces. Join all the cross pieces into one. This is for neck piece. This is for neck piece. Open all the stitching marks correctly for a perfect stitch. Now fold the marks. Now fold the marks for the piping piece into two. One should be larger and one should be lesser. Press it by the fingers. This is for neck hemming purpose. After folding, make a stitch. After folding, make a stitch. After folding, make a stitch. Make a stitch. Now after stitching the cross piece, join the front and back shoulder piece. Join the front and back shoulder pieces. While joining this piece, on the neck side take 0.75 inch. On the neck side take 0.75 inch, and on the shoulder side take half inch. And the shoulder side take half inch. The stitching should be cross. Stitching should be cross. It is because to avoid the loose in the neck pieces. On the neck side it's 0.75 inch, and in the shoulder sleeve side it will be 0.5 inch. Make the stitch. Make the stitch. Now the both shoulder have been made joint. Now cut a straight piece. This is for the shoulder finishing stitching purpose. To make stiffness of the shoulder, we are making this piece. Take the shoulder finishing 3.5 inch, shoulder finishing plus 1 inch, total 2.5 plus 1 3.5, and the width is 1 inch. Cut it down. For blouse without lining blouses, we want to make like this type to make the look perfect. Now I have cut it down. It's 1 inch. There are 2 pieces for 2 shoulders. Now place that piece in the bottom side. On the back side, make the stitch. Make the reverse stitch, start the reverse stitch and close the stitch. Reverse stitch and close the stitch. On the another side, also make the same stitches. The another side also make the same stitch. Now open the stitched point. Now open the stitched point. Now cut it down the extra pieces in the sleeve and neck side. Cut it down the extra pieces in the sleeve and neck side. Make the 1.5 inch mark. Before joining the sleeve in the body part, make a plain stitch in the body part. Make a plain stitch in the body part. This is because while stitching the sleeve and body, some peoples will stretch the cloths so the blouse will not set perfectly, so that body piece will be cross, so that the pieces will be automatically stretched out. To avoid this problem, first make a ordinary stitch in the body part. First make a ordinary stitch in the body part. Make an ordinary stitch in the body part. Make an ordinary stitch in the body part. Now joining the sleeve and the body part. While joining, the sleeve 1.5 inch mark and the body 1.5 inch mark should be matched equally. Join the sleeve step by step. Don't stretch the cloth while stitching. Don't stretch the cloth while stitching. Don't stretch the cloth while stitching. The center, back front joining center and the sleeve center should be equal at the time of stitching. the time of stitching. While stitching the sleeve, stitch very slowly, because if we stretches the blouse cloth or sleeve cloth, the measurement will be changed out. So stitch the blouse sleeve very slowly to avoid looseness or puffiness in the sleeve part. Now the one side sleeve had been made joint. While stitching the sleeve part, the stitching allowance should be only half inch. Now we are making that half inch point for stitching. For all the blouses, the stitching seam allowance should be only half inch only. Now join the sleeve part. Now join the sleeve part in the body. The center should be equal. At each time the center should be equal, and while joining, the sleeve front bend should be on the front side of the blouse part. While joining the sleeve front bend should faces on the front side of the blouse. While stitching, the sleeve center should be equal to the body space center. Slowly, step by step, stitch the blouse. At every time, body armhole point and the hand armhole point, the body center and the sleeve center should be equal at every time. Body center and the sleeve center should be equal at every time. Join the sleeve and body part as usual. The stitching seam should be half inch only. Now another one stitch for the sleeve part. Another one stitch for the sleeve part. After stitching, after joining the sleeve and body, side stitching allowance is 1.5 inch. Mark the 1.5 inch from the sleeve till to the side as 1.5 inch. On the armhole point, we are already having the mark as for 1.5 inch. The main is draw this mark in the back part only. Don't draw in this 1.5 inch mark in the front drawing, front side. Now the back drawing is completed. Back 1.5 stitching drawing is completed. make the stitch, make the stitch, make the stitch for 1.5 inches. Make the stitch for 1.5 inch. Make the stitch for both the side. From one side, start the stitch from the top to the bottom. On the another side, start the stitch from the bottom to the sleeve. This is for another side. First, on the first piece we have started the stitch from the sleeve till to the bottom. Now we are starting the stitch from the bottom till to the sleeve. Till to the sleeve. While stitching, make reverse stitch. The sleeve joint pieces should be faced on the top side and make the stitch. Should be on the top side and make the stitch. Make the reverse stitch to finish the stitch. After this stitch, we can make another stitching for a gap of ½ inch for adjustment purpose. Make the other stitch for adjustment purpose. We can make up to 3 stitches for loose tight adjustment purpose. After stitching, now we want to stitch the neck piece. Now we want to stitch the neck piece. Now we are seeing back dot finished portion, side stitch finished portion. All the other items have been finished. Now the balance is only the neck piece. Neck piece should make finish. First stitch the neck in the plain. This is because to avoid looseness in the neck piece. First stitch the neck side pieces into the plain. Next side into the plain. Next side into the plain. After this stitch, take the neck piece, neck cross joined pieces to stitch the neck side. Neck joint pieces to stitch the neck side. Now stitch the neck piece. Now stitch the neck piece. Make a reverse stitch. Now make a reverse stitch. and make a tuck in the neck pieces, because in the bent side, if we are making tuck, we can get the perfect finish. At every blouse on the bent side, we can make a tuck in the neck pieces. Watch slowly while stitching the neck piece. Watch slowly while stitching the neck piece. Now stitch the neck piece. After stitching the neck piece, while stitching, take the bend of the pieces. Don't stretch the neck pieces. Stitch the as the bend goes. Now cut the extra pieces in the blouse neck side. Now cut the extra pieces in the blouse neck side. Cut the extra pieces in the blouse neck side. Now cut the extra pieces in the neck side. Now turn the neck piece. Now turn the neck piece. And turn the neck piece and make a stitch. Now stretch the turn around the neck piece into the inside and stitch the neck piece. This is the final stage of stitching the blouse. While stitching this neck side, stitch very slowly and stitch the straight stitch to make the perfect shape. Make the perfect stitch. This is the finishing stage for stitch a blouse, ordinary blouse. This is the procedure to stitch a neck design or stitch a blouse dot or anything else. Now we have finished the blouse. Now we are seeing the center, whether the center have been correctly seated or not. The side center mark should be very equal and sleeve mark should be equal. Stitching mark on the side, stitching mark should be very equal. On the back side, turn the center should be equal. While ironing, iron the stitched parts of the blouses. The inner stitched part should be on the back side. Stitch go on the back side. Stitch go on the back side. This side part should be ironed, while the inner part should go on the back side, and then now you are seeing this shoulder. His shoulder should be very straight. The sleeve should go down. It should not go on top side. It should be going down. Then only the fitting can be very perfect. This back and front difference should be the difference between back and front should be this type. This is the perfect blouse stitching method.